Hey everyone, it's Hayes. In today's video we're going to be discussing when Adrien actually fell in love with Marinette, because I've had far too many arguments about this in the comments section, so from now on I'm just going to signpost people to this video in the future because I'm not doing this anymore.
I just think enough is enough.
But before I get into that, as always, I've not read the show Bible or seen any of the leaks, and I don't know why you'd need to bring them up in this video because it's not a theory or anything like that. But either way, I'd rather you not leave any of the leaks down below. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, I think most people would argue, and you're wrong, but let me explain. I think most people would argue that Adrien fell in love with Marinette in Risk. And you know, I get why. They stood alone together while the rest of the class are trying to break each other's kneecaps with a ball, although I don't know what they did to Adrien's leg. Bloody hell, I think you might need to go and see a doctor, mate. And Adrien confides to Marinette about how he feels about having to go on a round-the-world trip with Lila. Like, I don't blame him. I'd rather do anything else on this planet than be forced to do that, and Marinette is totally there for him, and Adrien thanks her for it, and they hold hands, and it's so sweet.
Oh my gosh, they're so cute!
I loved this moment when I first saw it, and I think it is arguably the moment where Adrien starts to realise how much Marinette actually means to him, with him finally getting there. In multiplication with how he's trying to get closer to her, in determination of course they go on a double date, and Adrien reveals he actually enjoyed the scene from Puppeteer too, which good for him because I think he's the only person in existence who did enjoy it.
How disturbing.
And then in Passion he's definitely in love with her, because as soon as he wakes up he does this.
Marinette. Marinette. Marinette.
I am like the chief Adrienette shipper in this fandom, in my opinion, but I'm also like, Adrien, I love you, but this was cringe as heck. Please never do it again, or I'm arresting you for cringe. I know that's not a crime, but it should be. This show has destroyed my soul at least 20 times with just cringe alone. And of course, in transmission, Adrien tells Marinette he loves her. Well, he more of shouts it at her, but you know, she gets the message.
I don't care, Marinette. I love you just the way you are.
So, without a doubt, he's in love with her in season 5. But when did he fall for her? The answer is not Risk, and in fact, it's not season 4 at all. Although, I won't lie, I would have loved it if he'd fallen in love with her during the guilt trip boiler room scene, but it wasn't then either. But the reason he looks at her like that in my favourite scene in pretty much the whole show is because he fell in love with her in Origins.
Let me explain it to you so you'll understand.
Now, the moment he fell for her was during the umbrella scene. Like, look at his face here, right before. He is so sad Marinette hates him and wants nothing more to get her to like him, which is completely fair since he didn't actually do anything wrong, and he doesn't want anyone to hate him. He's such a wholesome laddo. And you cannot tell me the way he looks at her in the umbrella scene isn't him falling for her, teamed with the clap of thunder, which means they both fall in love at first sight in France. The only reason he doesn't realise in this moment what he feels, and says his famous line,
She's just a friend.
is because he has been sheltered so much that he doesn't realise what he feels is love or a crush. And by this point, Ladybug has been far nicer to him than Marinette has, although I would also argue he hasn't fallen for Ladybug in either Origins episode. I just think he thinks she's awesome and admires her, which forms into more of a crush as the show goes on, until like Kuroneko towards the end of season 4. Someone like Adrien with a super sheltered upbringing wouldn't understand that you can have a crush on more than one person at once, and he just wouldn't understand. So Adrien writes off his confusion as Marinette just being a friend. But if you still don't believe me, let's go through the whole show, okay? And I'll show you some signs of Adrien's crush on Marinette. This feels like a miraculously lazy video. I miss her so much. Anyway, so in Eve Illustrator, Cat Noir is assigned to protect Marinette and sweeps down to kiss her hand. Now, while Cat Noir is borderline flirty with everyone in the show, he has never done this to any other civilian before. And speaking of kisses, in Horrificator, Adrien and Marinette almost kiss. Prior to that, Chloe tries to kiss him for the film, but Adrien, who has known Chloe almost his entire life, doesn't want to do it with her. Now, I'm not saying he should have to. If he doesn't want to, then he doesn't want to. But by this point in the show, he's only known Marinette a month, and he is more than willing to kiss her than he is Chloe. In Darkblade, Adrien is joking around Marinette, which he doesn't do really around anyone else because he is uncomfortable. He only feels comfortable enough with her to do it. And in Kung Fu, he defends Marinette and her uncle from Chloe, again, despite Chloe being his super important childhood friend. And to show how comfortable Adrien is around Marinette, in Glaciator as Cat Noir, he really opens up to Marinette about how he feels, which he doesn't even do with Nino, his best friend. And to show just how comfortable he is, in Despair Bear, they slow dance together like this. That's not what you do with a friend, Adrien. After seeing all the photos Marinette has of him in her room in Troublemaker, Adrien confronts her about it, in the most flirty way possible. And again, he's super comfortable with her in riposte while they fence, and he teaches her. He is never like this with Kagami even after they dated. In Befana, Adrien gives Marinette a birthday present, and Adrien has never given anyone in the show a present apart from her. And we've had several birthdays now, and not only that, it's a matching present to the one she gave him in Gamer, both made with a red thread, like the thread of fate. In Frozen, during the double date, Adrien gets slightly jealous of Luca being with Marinette, and in Heroes Day, Adrien looks pretty happy when Marinette kisses him on the cheek. He doesn't push her away or look disgusted. In Star Train, she accidentally falls asleep against him, but instead of gently pushing her away, Adrien leans into her and goes to sleep too. Friendship behaviour, right there apparently. In Party Crasher, the party is only for boys, but when Marinette is revealed to be there, Adrien stares at her like this. Like, you can't convince me he doesn't have feelings for her too. And then, of course, in the New York special, it's full of Adrienne moments. That's why it's my favourite special so far. But the most notable moments that show his crush are them on the plane together and what Adrien tells her about how much Marinette means to him. Of course, them slow dancing in the sky, which is totally what you do when you already have a girlfriend. And then when Adrien is leaving the city, he doesn't care what the rest of the class have to say. He only wants Marinette to tell him to stay. And then in season 4, we have the ending of Mr. Pigeon 72, and Adrien bumps his head on the car again, showing just how comfortable he is around her. He isn't clumsy like this around anyone else. Of course, there is the way he looks at her in Guilt Trip, my favourite scene from the whole show. In Penalty, they also fumble around each other, showing their levels of comfort around each other. And of course, my final piece of evidence is the prison ball scene in Risk. You don't do this with someone when they're just a friend, Adrien. So there you go, besties, all of the signs showing that he's been in love with her since the end of Origins. It just took him until the season 4 finale to actually realise what was going on. So I'd love to know what you think of my video, besties, and I'll see you in the next one.